Okotoks residents outraged about a neighbor charged with child sexual exploitation crimes.
Everyone here is really disturbed.
Police warn against vigilantism after hundreds of thousands of images are found.
The sheer volume is incredibly concerning.
Plus, Ottawa launches a new AI strategy.
That's AI governed by Canadian values.
But critics worry the plan has few safeguards.
What are the red lines that we're not going to cross?
And a whole new view of the world thanks to bioptic glasses.
It's extremely significant because it goes from this to like this.
The mini telescopes providing independence. So why are there restrictions?
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. A major bust by Alberta's Internet Child Exploitation Unit that saw an Okotoks man charged with crimes against children has outraged the town south of Calgary. The alleged crimes are disturbing enough, but neighbours cannot believe that Corey Earhart is now just out on bail. Now RCMP say they have received reports of threats and they hear people may be thinking about vigilante justice. Tyson Fedor reports.
Last week, the RCMP and the Internet Child Exploitation Unit arrived at this home in the Sheep River neighborhood of Okotoks, charging 35-year-old Corey Earhart with 1 count each of possessing and accessing child sexual abuse material.
To have something like this occur in your backyard, literally in your neighborhood, is quite alarming.
Alberta's law enforcement response team seized more than 500,000 photos and videos.
It's disturbing. I mean, like, you never really know your neighbor well enough, but for having something like that to that extent and to the degree of what it was, I think it kind of shook not only the neighborhood but basically all of Alberta.
Neighbor Nick DeMallo says he was shocked by the charges, which were announced by police Wednesday, leaving many in the community angry.
He was back home, cleaning out his garage. Another neighbor said he went for a walk with his dog, and it's kind of disturbing that, you know, that news is released about him, and all of a sudden he's back at home and kind of going on about his day. I think that's kind of upset a lot of people around here.
But RCMP say they are receiving reports of people thinking about taking the law into their own hands because of the nature of the alleged crimes. Mounties say any form of vigilantism is unlawful. CTV News attempted to make contact with Earhart at his home, but there was no answer. His home has been egged numerous times since the public found out about the charges.
That in itself gets the public angered. When there's a perception that justice is not being served to the victims of these types of offenses and that there's a leniency on the side of the court.
Earhart was released with strict conditions. Court documents showing Earhart promised to pay $3,000, must remain in Alberta, reside at his Okotoks home, and he must not go within 50 meters of any area where children under 16 may be present. Earhart is also banned from the internet or having any devices with a camera.
My understanding from the RCMP in our discussions is that this individual has been removed from the community.
Earhart is due in Okotoks court August 7th.
And Tyson is in Okotoks tonight outside Earhart's home. Tyson, the town has also taken action against him.
Tara, the town released a statement late this afternoon saying it understands people's perceptions with this news that have come out, knowing that it's unsettling and disturbing to many. This community has many young families with lots of children, especially just here in this neighborhood. The town did issue Earhart a trespass notice, preventing him from accessing any town facility here in this community. I did speak with several moms over the last hour or so, and they are still very concerned about this whole situation. There's a park, Tara, just about 75 meters here from me where I'm standing as well. So a lot of people on edge this evening, and especially coming here in the next several days. Tara?
Okay, Tyson, thank you. A terrifying scene west of Edmonton today. A van crashed through the wall of a daycare. No children were hurt, but firefighters had to rescue an employee who was trapped. She and the van's driver are both in hospital. Miriam Valdez-Carletti reports.
We've never really ever had a trouble being out here or anything like that, so definitely a shock to the system, to say the least.
Darren Bruniak was working next door to Young Champions Daycare when a van crashed into the building.
Didn't know if my daughter was safe or whatever, so, you know, a little bit of panic. You figure out real quick she's okay. She's at the 7-Eleven. I could see her when I come out the front of the store that she was, over there.
His daughter and son were one of the 18 in the daycare at the time. Police say they all got out safe. Emergency crews had to rescue an employee in her 20s who was trapped in the building. One witness saw the rescue.
There's a kitchen back there, and there was a lady in there preparing food. She's been injured. Something fell on her head, and she got burns on her arm.
She was in that room, and a large amount of debris was laying on her from the collision, and the gas line had ruptured. The natural gas line had ruptured and was feeding into that room.
She was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The smell of gas filled the air after the crash, and nearby buildings were evacuated.
It was me and one other gentleman. We were over by the van there when it first happened, but like I said, with the gas, it was just so strong. I got him to back away.
ATCO has since repaired the leak. Police say the driver was a man in his 30s and was taken to hospital. They say they're investigating all possible causes of the crash.
We haven't ruled out drugs or alcohol. We haven't ruled out any medical episodes, speed, any driving pattern. I don't have any information on that.
Bruniak says he's thankful for how fast the daycare workers got the kids out to safety.
Honestly, I was amazed because they had them across the road. The other staff reacted really well. The kids were all happy. They were getting them treats in the 7-Eleven.
Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
Calgary police say no one has been charged yet after a man was shot yesterday afternoon in a Beltline park. A man in his 30s was rushed to hospital after the shooting at Connaught Park on 14th Avenue Southwest. He is in hospital in critical condition with life-altering injuries. Investigators call it a brazen act of violence in a public place. They questioned several people, but all were released. Since then, another person was taken into custody, but no charges have been announced. Alberta's Privacy Commissioner is once again raising concerns about the upcoming changes to Alberta's driver's licenses. The Privacy Commissioner says morphing 3 IDs into one will bring new risks to personal information. Diane McLeod says putting personal health numbers on driver's licenses increases fraud risks. She also points out the Registrar of Motor Vehicles is not subject to privacy laws. McLeod says she has been speaking to the province about her concerns, but so far the government hasn't introduced any extra safeguards. The Privacy Commission says it's developing its own guidance for Albertans, plus one for organizations with access to health numbers and proof of citizenship. You may have noticed gas prices have shot back up in Calgary again. After a brief dip earlier this week, prices are up about 17 cents a litre tonight, sitting around $1.72. Analysts say prices are being pushed up by continued uncertainty in the Middle East, as well as a tightening oil supply. Air Canada is trying to ease concerns about jet fuel supply ahead of a busy summer travel season. The airline has sent an email to customers saying there's no fuel shortage affecting its operations, including across Europe. Air Canada says it does not anticipate any significant impact through the summer. Meanwhile, German airline group Lufthansa says most European airlines are confident there will be no jet fuel shortage. Tourist visits and spending in Calgary are on the rise, and that's after a record-breaking year in 2025. Tourism Calgary says what stands out is recreation and entertainment spending in the city, up nearly 45% year over year. The organization says that means tourists are increasingly choosing Calgary as a destination and then spending more money when they get here. Spending by international visitors increased 15% in the first quarter of this year. The Stampede remains the #1 attraction, but events surrounding the Stampede off the grounds are a major draw too.
We know that the music scene in Calgary continues to be a huge draw. There are 13 different music venues planned throughout Stampede this year. We're quickly becoming one of the biggest music events in the country and known beyond our warm Western hospitality for action and adventure, for culinary, for art, the arts and creative scene.
Tourism supports more than 80,000 jobs in Calgary. Prime Minister Mark Carney and his federal government have introduced their new AI strategy, looking to move Canada forward. Moses Woldu has more on how this could help Alberta's standing in the AI race.
A new announcement from the federal government will see billions move into the artificial intelligence space, and that has Alberta tech companies like Calgary's Brain Toy thrilled.
We partner with educational institutions and industries. We want to empower people. So this will be good because it will provide funding and some capital to do this.
Key takeaways from the government's plan is to boost AI's use in business from 12% today to 60% by the year 2034, along with building a world-leading supercomputer in order to increase Canada's sovereign infrastructure in 5 years and to give all Canadians access to free AI literacy training.
Under our strategy, the government will introduce new legislation, regulations and standards to protect your data, your privacy, your children.
While there is excitement, there are experts taking a second look.
Every time you engage with AI systems, you're gaining something, but you're also losing something.
And Canadians largely agree. An Angus Reid poll showed 2/3 of Canadians want the government to regulate AI, but nearly 3/4 of Canadians aren't confident in the government to keep up with the technology.
Let's have a conversation about accountability when AI systems cause harms, and also individual rights and liberties. If I don't want my data to be used for training, especially in governmental context.
There are no timelines for safeguards at the moment, but Asiedu says he's already noticing some positives from what he's read.
At least now, as a vendor, if I have that certificate, people will be interested in working with me. They will trust me more.
And Moses joins us now. So Moses, what is Ottawa's prediction in terms of job growth then with this strategy?
Well, Tara, Ottawa is saying that they are expecting 90,000 jobs actually for young Canadians, that is, and giving them job opportunities, and about 250,000 new jobs through AI adoption by the year 2031. Tara.
Okay, Moses, thank you.
You're watching CTV News Calgary.
We kind of have some active weather in the city tonight, so let's bring Danielle in. What should we be expecting the next few hours?
Well, in Calgary right now, there is thunderstorm activity, and some communities, for example, Bridgeland, have already reported some smaller size hail. So there are thunderstorms in many parts of southern Alberta, but this one's a decent one in Calgary. I'm going to pop out the lightning so you can see the actual cell. And earlier it was producing some small pea-sized hail. This is a non-severe storm, but it is packing a punch, absolutely. And while it is starting to weaken, it's coming with a lot of lightning, a big downpour, and there's still the potential of some small pea-sized hail. The other storm I'm tracking that is actually producing hail at the moment is around Watts and Hannah. So it's tracking towards the Hannah area right now. Again, with these storms today, this is a day to take it seriously because rotation is possible, funnel cloud development, and some hail as well. 14 degrees is the temperature at the airport. Looking at the next 24 hours, a similar day tomorrow. Fog patches to kick off, then some sunshine, and then the risk of late day thunderstorms once again, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. A 1,000-pound butter sculpture is at the center of a new exhibit at Contemporary Calgary. Artist Gazela Avrazamani calls the work Churn, Earn, Burn, and then Return. It's the feature of a large Monopoly board. Contemporary Calgary is launching 3 new solo exhibits today, examining systems of power.
When you enter this space, it's a very colorful, happy exhibition. Whereas when you start reading the text, when you start getting to know more about the exhibition, you start understanding it's not as fun as that we talk. It's a bit bitter and dark. It's talking and touching the darkest aspects of our lives, probably.
To celebrate the launch, admission into Contemporary Calgary is free tonight until 9 p.m. Just ahead, the technology that helps people with vision problems get back behind the wheel. At least in some provinces. We'll tell you about the push for Alberta to change the rules and allow bioptic glasses for driving. And dozens of volunteers dig in to boost the size of Calgary's tree canopy. That's next. Calgary police say they responded to 3 separate collisions last night, all of them involving impaired drivers. The first was this pileup on Deerfoot Trail around 7 p.m. One vehicle ended up on its roof. Police say 3 people were hurt, including the driver, who was arrested at the scene. Drivers suspected of being impaired were also arrested in the 2 other crashes. A conditional discharge has been granted to a notorious child killer. Alan Schoenborn took the life of his 10-year-old daughter Caitlin and 5- and 8-year-old sons Max and Gordon in their Merritt home 18 years ago. Schoenborn has a delusional disorder and was found not criminally responsible following his 2010 conviction. He spent 15 years at a forensic psychiatric hospital before being moved to another facility. The 1-year conditional discharge now allows him to live in a supervised residence in Vancouver and go out in the community alone with conditions. A spokesperson for the victim's family says they believe Schoenborn is being moved through the system due to a lack of proper mental health resources in that province.
He's so ill or evil, he is unaware that he needs this assistance, and it's incumbent upon us to provide that level of care, not just graduate him through the system where he can be back on the streets and possibly, and I believe probably, will cause a greater tragedy.
Schoenborn's conditions include attending a psychiatric clinic for treatment, returning to the forensic hospital in Coquitlam if ordered to do so, reporting any intimate relationships, and not possessing any weapons or drugs. RCMP have busted a trafficking operation that shuttled drugs from Calgary to Canmore. Cochrane Mounties seized a semi-automatic rifle, fentanyl, cocaine, counterfeit Xanax, and synthetic opioid tablets. Investigators say a suspect was picking up wholesale-level drugs in Calgary and then selling them in the Bow Valley. The estimated street value of the drugs is about $500,000. 2 Canmore residents and 2 Calgarians are charged.
We're watching the overdoses happen. The harm reduction side has increased a lot, but on the harm reduction side of the Narcan and units that are helping that, taking seizures like this off the street, especially in small towns, is crucial.
1 property in Canmore and 2 homes in Calgary were searched as part of this bust. Banff RCMP are investigating after someone stole 2 bronze plaques that were part of a memorial. The plaques were ripped off a statue and a rock. They commemorated Ukrainians and other Europeans interred in the mountain town during the First World War. The damage was discovered recently by officials from the Ukrainian-Canadian Civil Liberties Association. The College of Physicians and Surgeons has sanctioned a Calgary doctor again. A tribunal found Dr. Bruce Hoffman double billed by charging insurance companies for procedures while also privately charging patients. The college also determined he breached a patient's confidentiality and levied an unreasonable $1,000 charge for a missed appointment. Hoffman received a reprimand and a $7,000 fine for unprofessional conduct. He is the same physician who was ordered by the college to pay more than $20,000 to the estate of a former patient after double billing on 21 separate occasions. Hoffman has retired from medicine. He has appealed the latest sanctions. Advocates for people with low vision are calling on the province to help cover costs for a special type of glasses and to allow people to use them for driving. Alicia Fieldberg met 1 Calgarian who says adopting these policies could be life-changing.
Wow, isn't this just such a miracle?
That's how Judy Anderson felt when she first tried special glasses that help her continue many of her favorite things. But she isn't allowed to use them to drive, so had to give up the job she loved.
I had the privilege of going out and speaking to groups about the benefits of healthy, nutritious food. I had to give my notice, and it honestly was one of the saddest days of my life.
Bioptic telescope glasses are prescription lenses with mini telescopes on top. They offer a hands-free way to see distant objects up to 5 times larger when needed, while maintaining peripheral vision. Some countries and Canadian provinces allow them for driving, but telescopic visual aids cannot be used to maintain an Alberta driver's license.
Unfortunately, in Alberta, we're not at that point yet, but we are trying to bring awareness because this is a game changer in patients who are suffering, who can't do the activities they want to do, but now can do it.
A Calgary optometrist asked the province to adopt a model similar to Ontario and Quebec, which allows drivers to use the special glasses and also provides some provincial funding for eligible patients to buy them. Right now, Alberta patients have to cover the roughly $2,000 to $5,000 cost.
To enable the patients to improve their quality of life and to get that spark back, where when they've lost it, we see them go downhill.
He developed a free app to help people with low vision continue many activities to avoid isolation and mental health impacts.
Watch for the bike rack's metal bars, which could pose a tripping hazard.
Judy is thankful for the aids and hopes Alberta will adopt changes that might give her back even more independence.
I think if it wasn't to leave our family, I would probably say, let's move to Ontario, because I want the freedom to be able to drive and just be out and with my friends and have the most normal life I can possibly be, and the best life, I think.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
Drivers in Ontario and Quebec must complete training before they can drive with the bioptic telescopic glasses. We reached out to the province, which says there's no timeline for any potential policy changes, but it's monitoring how other provinces are approaching this and any evidence related to safety, effectiveness, and patient outcomes.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
All right, we've got our eye on a system that has just sort of settled over the city.
Yeah, and it's intensified and spawned another one, also producing some smaller size hail in the city. So it's a busy one. This is one of those days you absolutely take it seriously. You see the lightning, you see things happening in the sky, you go indoors. Okay, checking out the temperatures. We'll do that quickly first and then get into all the active weather. 22 in Lethbridge, 21 in Brooks, 20 in Drumheller, 15 in Calgary. It's been a bit of a windy day, especially in Lethbridge, and it will continue to be windy in Lethbridge tonight and tomorrow as well. Calgary, we maxed out at 43. That's what we're looking at tomorrow as well. So similar winds for tomorrow. In fact, similar conditions overall. Temperature, conditions, winds, all of that stuff for tomorrow in comparison to today. Here's a look at the severe thunderstorm watch that's in place. Calgary is not under the watch right now, but we are getting some smaller size hail. Now the watch is in place for more intense storms and the possibility for even some rotation, funnel cloud development, and some larger size hail. That's not what's happening in Calgary. In Calgary, we are getting a cell though that spawned another one. I want to pop out the lightning here so I can show you the cell. So you can see two of them now, and you can see the purple in that on the east end of the city, and that is producing some smaller size hail. I've received some pictures of some pea-size hail in some communities at this point. So it's not going to damage cars and houses, but it's certainly something, and we could see some larger pieces in there. There is a cell around the Watts area right now. This is weakening a bit as it tracks towards Hannah, and look at all these cells just to the east of Bow Island tracking towards the Medicine Hat area. So it's a very active day, absolutely. Looking at the futurecast here, as I advance this to 10 o'clock, this is mainly out of the way, and this weakens to basically just some isolated showers to the east of Hannah by 10 o'clock tonight. Then it's all out of all of Alberta by the midnight hour. Here's a look at tomorrow. Calm for the morning. We will have development though to the north, this band of rainfall and even some thunderstorms along this. This could peak into Calgary. Calgary will be just on the edge. So after 3 p.m. we have that potential for tomorrow. And the same idea goes for Saturday. After 3 p.m. we have the potential for thunderstorm activity. And this look at Sunday. Sunday will be a rainy one, a significant amount of rain. Nothing like the last system we had where we had over 100 millimeters, but we could pick up 10 millimeters of rain on Sunday. Temperatures will cool a little bit by then as well. This is your Action Furnace 5-day forecast. 19 for tomorrow, 18 for Saturday, the risk of late day thunderstorms and showers, and then a rainy, cooler day for Sunday.
Hundreds of trees have been planted in a park north of downtown in an effort to help grow the city's canopy. Volunteers started planting trees in Winston Heights Park in Tuxedo Park earlier today. Over the next couple of months, more than 1,400 trees will be planted in both Winston Heights Park and West Nose Creek Park through a partnership between the city and Trees for Life. The city wants to increase the tree canopy from just under 10% up to 16%.
A healthy city should have a very high tree canopy coverage, and we applaud the City of Calgary's efforts to double that tree canopy in the next few years. So anything that we can do to help accelerate or amplify that process, we're more than happy to do.
Last year, 2,000 trees were planted through the partnership. First Nations are taking a stand against an Alberta separatist referendum. They say they will look at all avenues in their fight to stop the vote. And we'll take you to a teddy bear picnic to celebrate an essential Calgary program. Chiefs of Treaty 8 First Nations say they will look at all avenues to stop the referendum question from going forward. They say the Premier is ignoring court rulings that uphold the province's duty to consult with First Nations. Here's CTV's Nicole Weisberg.
This Premier is totally lost. Gone. Got no credibility left.
Chiefs of Treaty 8 First Nations of Alberta say they've lost all trust in the UCP government after the Premier decided to include a question on separation on an October referendum ballot.
The courts have determined time and time again our rights. Yet we have a Premier that seems to think that our rights don't matter.
It's not only an attack on our treaty, it's an attack on every treaty in this country.
In an open letter, the Chiefs call on the province to immediately cease any attempt to proceed with the separation referendum or related process without full consultation, accommodation, and the free, prior, and informed consent of Treaty 8 First Nations. Last month, a court ruling halted a separation petition from advancing for failing to consult with affected First Nations. The Premier says it is not required since her referendum question is not binding. Her office reiterated that in a statement today.
And that's where I think that the court erred in judgment, and I think it's also anti-democratic, the decision that they made.
The Chiefs take exception to the Premier's comments from last week, where she also said the duty to consult should only apply to major projects. They say they can't see any projects going ahead while this question lingers.
We'll take a look at all avenues. That means everything. That means stopping industry. That means maybe going out on the highways. That maybe means doing what we need to do to be heard.
We support responsible development, and we've said that numerous times. But if it's going to come to an attack on our treaty, we're going to do everything we can to protect our people.
Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Alberta NDP is calling on all UCP MLAs to publicly reveal how they will vote on the separation question in October. The NDP says to date, only 10 UCP MLAs have publicly said they will vote to remain in Canada. Deputy NDP leader Raki Pancholi says 36 UCP MLAs have still not stated their voting intentions.
Why are they sitting on the fence on the most fundamental question our province is facing, the one that they themselves have forced on Albertans? It's either because they're separatists or because they've made the political calculation that they would lose their UCP nomination or their seat if they publicly stated their support for remaining in Canada.
Pancholi says vague statements in support are not enough. MLAs should explicitly state how they plan to vote on October 19th. When asked about MLAs publicly stating their voting intentions, Chief Government Whip Brandon Lunty reiterated the UCP caucus supports a strong and sovereign Alberta within a united Canada. Still to come tonight, it may be a window back to your childhood. We have details of a classic Canadian show coming back. It's the reboot of The Littlest Hobo. If you went down to the Children's Cottage Society today, you'd be in for a big surprise. You probably know how the rest of this goes. Today's the day the teddy bears had a picnic. The cottage invited families to bring their favorite stuffed animals to celebrate a name change for its crisis nursery. It's now called Nan's Place. The name may be different, but the program remains the same. Care for children can be provided for up to 3 days when families are going through a hard time. There's also day respite care available.
We have families who bring their children to us when there's a medical emergency in the family, when they're exhausted and overwhelmed, they need a rest, when they're going through some housing problems. There's so many reasons why families come to us, and sometimes it's hard to find that kind of help.
The Children's Cottage Society wants families in need to know that you do not have to go through it alone. We'd all like to go to a teddy bear's picnic. Fun. Sure. Well, this might be the most exciting news of the day, you guys. A beloved Canadian classic is coming back to the small screen. Every stop I make, I'm a friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Yep, Crave is working on what it's calling a live-action drama reimagining of The Littlest Hobo. Vancouver's Seth Rogen and his frequent writing partner Evan Goldberg are developing the new series. The original ran on CTV from 1979 to 1985. You'll remember it starred that incredibly intelligent German Shepherd who just wandered from town to town helping people in need. No word yet on casting details or a potential release date. Crave, of course, is owned by Bell Media, which also owns CTV.
And of course, we remember that song, all of us.
Very much. I've been humming it all day. Yes.
Like, yep.
Will this have like a funny angle with those guys?
I
wonder.
No, I think it's going to be a real, just a proper reboot. Yeah, cool. I guess we'll see. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
There are no Canadian teams left in the Stanley Cup playoffs, so we might have to switch our focus to this kind of hockey.
This is one of the most intense, physically demanding sports you can get. Mainly because not only do you train like an Olympic athlete, but you hold your breath while you're doing it.
Okay, this would be hard.
Yeah.
One of the places underwater hockey is the most popular is in the UAE. They're hoping to have a great showing because the World Championships are being held in Indonesia this summer. The sport was first developed in the 50s in the UK, and it's for some reason surging in popularity everywhere else right now.
Wonder if they have fighting.
Well, there's fighting in water polo.
Water fighting?
So I bet there's fighting in underwater hockey, yeah.
Physical,
I mean,
right?
would it be hockey if there wasn't fighting?
I bet there is, yeah. Well, here's a good reminder. You should never judge a book by its cover.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that might not have been who you were expecting to see rocking the tunes. This is 63-year-old Andrea Gill. She goes by Tune Girl. She is a modular synthesizer artist from Germany, a rising star in the techno music scene right now. She spent years working computer software, and she was sort of dissatisfied with it. So she has live sets now that run entirely on hardware, which means no laptop or prearranged sequences. She just improvises the whole thing.
Andrea's rocking it.
Yeah.
Doing
Quite
a
a
good job.
change in pace in her lifestyle.
I would imagine, yeah, in her puffy coat.
Yeah.
Well, still to come, the healing power of music. We'll tell you about a program to help Calgary seniors who are living with dementia.
All right, Skywatch weather camera. Depends on which way you look in the city, but in some cases you're seeing some sunshine. Other cases it's still pretty dark because of the storm that's been moving through. 16 in Calgary at the airport. Today's high was 19 degrees, normal 19. Tomorrow's expected high 19. So temperatures right where they should be. And we are in storm season here, so this is typical. All right, so let's first talk about what's going on here because we have the cell that's just starting to weaken and push its way out. Still some lightning associated with it, still a decent downpour on the east end of the city and as well through parts of the north end. Some small pea-sized hail is what this delivered and also a little bit of pooling on some roadways. So careful driving around, especially in the east end right now because of this. Popping out the lightning, you can see this is weakening and heading south of Chestermere at this point. Well, the core of it anyway. There is a cell tracking towards Hannah. That one is producing some smaller pea-sized hail. And look at all these cells, Bow Island over to the Medicine Hat area. Again, we don't have a severe thunderstorm watch in place anymore because we're not looking at these getting to that severe level, but smaller size hail with some of these good downpours, lightning, certainly still cells to take seriously out there until this is all fully said and done in the province at 10 p.m. All right, tomorrow, similar idea. Fog patches developing overnight, carrying through early tomorrow morning. 19 degrees is the high. In the afternoon, the gusts up to 40 kilometers per hour. And we do, after 4 p.m., get into the risk of some thunderstorm activity. That's your 24-hour forecast brought to you by Action Furnace. Fix right or it's free. 21 in Kamloops tomorrow, 18 in Fernie. Golden looking at showers. There's going to be a whole band of moisture for Grand Prairie, Slave Lake, down through Edmonton, Red Deer. This will also carry some thunderstorm activity, and it could peak into Olds and Calgary as well. In the far south, we're looking at windy conditions up to 70 kilometers per hour for Brooks, Lethbridge, Pincher Creek over to Milk River.
RCMP are warning against vigilante justice against an Okotoks man charged with exploitation crimes against children. Corey Earhart is accused of having 500,000 photos and videos of child sex abuse material. His home has been egged numerous times since the charges became public. A van crashed into a daycare in Stony Plain today, injuring an employee. No children were hurt. And one person remains in custody, but no charges have been announced yet after yesterday's shooting of a man in Connaught Park in the Beltline. It is Seniors Week in our city, and Alzheimer Calgary is celebrating the power that music can have for people living with dementia. Its program helps stimulate memories for members while also providing a social environment where everyone can join in. Kevin Fleming has more.
They get together a few times a week to listen to live or recorded music. It only takes a short time for these people living with dementia to start moving to the rhythm of the songs they're hearing. Doug Campbell was diagnosed 12 years ago. Music has always been a part of his life, and his wife Bev Johnson says he enjoys these sessions.
Doug is very social, and as long as the more I can get him out and being social, the better he is. Otherwise, he just sits in his chair and sleeps.
It's not long before a song is played that reminds the couple of earlier times when they would dance the night away. But a short time later, that memory is gone.
Well, nobody was dancing. We're just listening. It's a listening day.
No, we danced. We had a jive.
Where, here?
Yeah.
Oh, see it? Yeah, I lost it.
Barb Ferguson heads Alzheimer Calgary and believes that after a dementia diagnosis, people can lead meaningful lives, and music is a part of that.
Dementia is a progressive condition. It's a disease of the brain. So people often think of memory first, but it's more than just memory. It's changes of behavior, changes in ability to do some of those day-to-day tasks.
During Seniors Week, Jill Petrovic is focused on changing the way the community sees and connects with people impacted by dementia through an initiative called Still Me.
I think stories like Bev and Doug's are just so powerful because they met through music, and he's part of our day program, but he is still, I mean, you saw him today. He's tapping his feet, he's up dancing with his wife. They're still dancing, they're still making playlists. And so I think that they're an inspiration for how we want to live, whether we have dementia or not as we age.
Petrovic says music is a way to bring people together, and advocates are encouraging youth to connect with seniors in their lives to share that love of music. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
We've posted more information about the music program on our website. Lululemon reported earnings after the end of the trading day. We'll get the details now from BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez.
The Canadian company keeps its records in American dollars. It reported sales of $2.5 billion for its latest quarter. That's a 4% improvement over last year. But after hours, investors reacted to their 2026 guidance, which the company lowered. It now expects 2026 revenue of about $11 billion. The goal had been about $11.5 billion. The interim CEO says the yoga-wear company is navigating headwinds. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 71.92. West Texas Intermediate down close to $3 to 93.04. Western Canadian Select is up to 79.11. And the TSX shot up over 400 points to a new record close of 35,217. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Changes are coming for a key federal benefit program with millions of Canadians set to receive payments. Starting tomorrow, eligible people will receive a one-time GST-HST credit top-up payment. The Canada Groceries and Essentials benefit will replace that credit beginning next month. However, eligibility rules, payment calculations, and the overall structure will remain the same. Ottawa says quarterly payment amounts will increase by 25% for 5 years, providing more support to people with low incomes. The Stamps season kicks off tomorrow, and before the game, some Stampeder champions will be honored. Glenn has that for us next. Serena Williams has chosen to partner with a Canadian star in her return to tennis. 19-year-old Victoria Mboko posted the Queen is back today. Mboko and Williams will play women's doubles at an event in the UK. Mboko is currently ranked 9th in the world in singles and says Williams is her idol. Williams announced her return to the court earlier this week at the age of 44. She has won 14 Grand Slam doubles titles over her career. The CFL season kicks off tonight as the Hamilton Tiger Cats are hosting the Montreal Alouettes. Glenn is back with us, and Glenn, the Stamps open up the season tomorrow night.
Tara, the Stamps take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in game number 1, and the Stamps will have to try to get the job done without the longest-serving member of the team.
Paredes has it up.
Rene Paredes joined the Calgary Stampeders in 2011 and hasn't missed a game since. His streak was 247 straight games, but that'll come to an end on Friday night. Stamps announced on Thursday Paredes will start the year on the 6-game injured list.
He hadn't been able to kick, so he tried, but he's hurt. So unfortunately, sucks for him. He's got a consecutive game streak, but we just had a little talk, and he's just got to get himself healthy.
Replacing Paredes to start the season will be Jude McCutcheon from Northern Ireland. He was a 2026 first-round pick in the global draft.
Yeah, just been sticking to my training, preparing myself as if I was going to play anyway. I think that's all you can do as an athlete, prepare as if you're going to play no matter what situation you're in. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, yeah.
The 26-year-old does have some experience. He was with the New York Giants for a couple of seasons and played in 5 games.
He's not missed in his very short career and just a couple of kicks, and he puts this one through.
I was at the Giants with Graham Gano. He was the kicker there when I was there. And also Youngwei Koo was there when I was in, and a few other kickers came in too. So I learned a heap of knowledge and stuff from those guys. Guys that have done it at a high level for a long time. That experience was invaluable for me. It really was.
Even though it's tough not having Paredes kicking field goals, the Stamps say they're confident in McCutcheon.
Jude won the job, straight and simple. He's got a big leg with good height and helps us on our kickoffs as well. So. Listen, every kicker's going to miss. Let's grow a guy and keep building him. And, hopefully, like you say, when the kick matters, you make it and get the W.
After Thursday's walkthrough, McCutcheon was having a good chat with Duncan O'Mahony, another Irishman who kicked for the Stamps, who was also giving him a little advice.
Yeah, just about keeping it simple. That's what it is. Keep our job simple. We know our process, our job, and it's just about going out and doing what we do in training out on game day,
O'Mahony, you might remember, was a member of the Stamps' 2001 Grey Cup team, and tomorrow night they'll be honored during the game. That group, yes, it's going to be honored. The Stamps finished that year with an 8-10 record in the regular season, and against all odds, beat the heavily favored Winnipeg Blue Bombers to win the Grey Cup. Some members of that team were at McMahon Stadium today, got a picture with the current squad. Jeff Traversy says it was a close-knit team, and winning that Grey Cup that season was magical.
We went on a run right at the end, and it was an amazing feeling. And we just knew, I think it was the last 3 games of the season, and we just knew if we make it, we're gonna do some damage. In Montreal, it was amazing. That was, I remember at the end of the game, and. I saw Joe Fleming, and I'm like, you know what, bud, this is unreal. We did it. We did what nobody thought we could do.
Yeah, so true. Stamps and Bombers kick off tomorrow night a little after 7 at McMahon Stadium, and at the U.S. Women's Open at Riviera, Aphrodite Dang, who was born in Calgary, having a great opening round. The 16-year-old's at even par through 17, so she's in contention. She was at 4 under at one point, but right now she's about 5 shots off the lead, so having a pretty decent first round.
Awesome. Thank you, Glenn. All right, we've got about a minute left. Danielle, give us a quick peek at what's happening tonight.
We've had thunderstorms in the city. Check out this photo from Jaden Tate, taken in Bridgeland. This is the smaller size hail that they received in the Bridgeland area. And many communities in the East End got some of this as well. So it's been a bit of an active day. Let's talk about the longer range forecast here. And we have the risk of thunderstorm activity late day tomorrow, late day Saturday, and especially after 4 p.m. And then on Sunday, it's a rainy day, a little cooler, 14, and we'll likely pick up about 10 millimeters of rain. Okay, hang on. I don't know what's happening with my graphics right now. Okay, and this weather window, I'll say this now.
Because we're going to show it for the 3rd time.
Why not, right? You love it so much.
I have no idea what the computer's doing right now, but they want us to talk about this again. Weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. Also some water pooling on some roadways, so careful driving out there.
That happened because that Sunday forecast, okay, Daniel?
That's right, it's punishment. Thanks for your company tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow.